Hey, we're at the NAMM Show. I'm here with Matt with Warm Audio.
Yeah, thanks, Kyle. So yeah, we're super psyched to be here this year. We've got a brand new set of preamps, 1 and 2 channel MPX. In this station here, we basically have a 2-channel MPX going into 2 Pultecs, 1 on each side, and then a bus compressor. The MPX, our new product, is based on the 351 style of tape machine, but the preamp inside of it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this came out in the 50s, and we're all over like RCA and Sun Records. And what people started to do, kind of like how you always hear those stories of like old tape machines getting thrown away, like when the new ones came out, and then when digital came out, people would like kind of dig these out and then pull the preamps out and rewire them and use them in the studio.
Oh, cool.
So that's kind of what we did here, right? So right now we want to like listen to some audio, right? We've got a drum, stereo drums running in. And what's cool about this is right now I would say it's in more of a high headroom setting, a little bit more clean. But if you wanted to say add a lot of dirt and and distortion to it, this lets you do that. So we'll talk about the features. This preamp has.
Let's get the camera up here so we can see what's going on.
Yeah. So if you look at it, they kind of each channel goes inside to outside. So we have tape saturation. That feature engages a diode ladder. It starves the voltage, which adds a little bit of compression and a little bit of volume. We have a high-pass filter like so many. We also have a low-pass filter, so if you want to make like a lo-fi machine, it'll focus the sound in. We have a tone button. That's an input transformer impedance modifier, so it takes it from 600 ohms to 150. Sounds awesome on ribbon mics, adds like a lot of presence. My favorite switch on this is the high gain switch, because right now this is operating at 70 dB of gain, but when you engage the high gain, it hits 90.
Wow.
So to save everyone's ears, we're not gonna flick that on in this environment because I feel for all of our hearing. But you want to get some saturated tones onto this? Want me to show you how that's done?
Please do. Yep.
Sweet. All right. So play around with our gain a little bit. And then you let me know. And if that, then if you want to actually like focus that tone in a little bit more, what you can do is turn on your filters. It's just a drum loop coming back. So now, we lose all that, high and low end, which gives you a nice focus. And then if you really, really, really want to get some distortion, I'm just going to set some levels so we don't kill anyone's ears here. We're going to back these off, and we're going to get our tape saturation going.
Nice.
Right?
Wow.
Yeah, and there's a lot more than that, too. I mean, you can literally make it sound like a fuzzy distortion box if you want to.
Yeah, and this is one of those things that analog does really well, right?
Right. Yeah. I mean, I personally use a ton of tape saturation plugins and stuff, and they're very cool, but one of my only little complaints is sometimes I feel like I need to own 4 or 5 of them because I want different colors or amounts of flavors. And what's nice about something like this is you have a huge range from really, really clean all the way to like full-on like tone bender like guitar fuzz, and you can get all the in-between sounds. You know what I mean?
Really cool.
Yeah, dude.
Awesome. So tell me about these Pultecs here.
Yeah. So right now we're running them in bypass, which is actually a really common way people like to use them. So if you're wondering like what you're doing, you're just running through more tubes and transformers. But if you want to engage them, now we have our chain here. Everything's set to, was set to level, but you can, kind of sit there, and this way you have separate channels where you can, boost and cut. What I really like about these, I like them more for additive EQ. So you can certainly cut frequencies with them, but I always find that like my example is like if I want to boost a high frequency or something, it'd be cool if I use the right part. You can get more out of that, like bring out the cymbals a little bit more. And then on these, for those who aren't familiar, you have a separate boost and cut on the highs. You have a bandwidth control, right? So it's kind of like your cue for those of us who are like more used to plugins. Like if you want something really focused versus something more broad.
Yep.
And then on the bass area, you have a boost and cut with a single frequency choice.
Wow, cool, cool. And I mean, of course, this is something that I can see being really powerful in parallel, right?
Yes.
So you have like your clean drum sound that the transients are getting through. It sounds nice and crispy. Maybe it's more full bandwidth,
100%.
but then you kind of sort of low pass, high pass that off, crunch it up a little bit, make that spongy bed that you bring up underneath.
Yeah, and
that's cool.
The cool thing too, one way I've been using it, is I'll go through and I'll reprint tracks, and I'll like almost do live automation. So I'll go in there and I'll dial a sound in as opposed to like trying to use the DAW for it. If I, once you start to get to learn these pots, you'll sit there and go, oh, I want to dial that low pass in on the separate track. So you keep the clean track running and have your dirty track kind of change. But,
wow, cool.
Yeah, it's
awesome.
very cool.
Did we cover all of this whole rack here?
The only thing we didn't talk about is the bus comp. Right now, the bus comp is set, fairly conservative. We're bumping the needle a little bit there. But what I love about this is kind of how it'll bring out transients in a lot of cases. So we'll bypass it just to hear kind of a basic mode.
Perfect timing.
So here's without. Yeah. Got your makeup gain, which is great, in the scenario where you want to add a little bit of boost. And what's cool about this one is you can actually engage or disengage the transformers. Just to of course, the loop again. You get a little bit of extra analog color there in the end on the output transformers.
Really cool.
And these do have an external side chain. So if you want to align the bass, with a bass drum or a kick drum or something like that, you can use it to tell the compressor when to actually start compressing.
Nice.
Yeah.
Man, I appreciate you showing us this stuff. That's
Yeah,
cool.
awesome.
Is all of this stuff available now, or is there a
Worldwide.
release date coming up?
Worldwide, available,
Awesome.
shipping right now.
Awesome.